Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Leaders and Learners, where we know that the best leaders are lifetime learners. And I today have an amazing young learner and leader for you. She is an author that has two books out, and I think she's still in elementary school. The girl has started a mission to rid the world of bullies, tell her story, and help others tell their stories in a way that creates change. At Sand and Shores, our goal is always to tell dynamic stories that impact people's real lives. Not your Twitter live, not your Instagram live, not your social media live, but your real life. So without further ado, I want to bring on Miss Sydney Joe Washington because she is teaching people how to really do things differently. Hey, Miss Sydney Joe, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I am super excited actually to have you on. You might be the youngest person that's been on my podcast. I like speaking to people that have something to teach to the rest of the world. So I want you to introduce yourself and talk about how you decided at this young age to become an author.
Well, hi, my name is Sydney Joe Washington, and I'm 13 years old, and I am the author of Malaysia's Big Move and Malaysia's Big Creation, which is in an anti-bullying series, and as well as I'm an entrepreneur, and I have a nonprofit organization called ABC Anti-Bullying Club. A little how I got started, a little bit. When I was in fifth grade, there was a girl in my class that was being bullied, and a group of girls and I decided to take her to the guidance counselor to talk about what was going on. And one of the girls there, she was like, "Hey, we should make a club about this." And I thought it was a great idea, so we started making flyers, we started getting everyone involved, and no one really took us seriously, so unfortunately we had to stop the club, but I wanted to take it home and use it as my own. So that's kind of how I got started with my nonprofit, but it transitioned into my storyline and what I wanted my books to be about in my series, um, about bullying and about anti-bullying and sticking up for people and stuff like that. And we were in quarantine and I didn't have a lot to do, so my dad finished his second book and he was like, "Since you can't do your nonprofit, why can't you write a book?" And I thought that was a great idea, so I took it, and now I got two books out, and it's my second year this year doing my nonprofit, and I am here with you. So clearly, it's going pretty real.
I'm sorry, you said you had nothing else to do, so you decided to write a book. Girl, some people don't even want to write their homework. So, writing something that you've always wanted to do, something that you've always enjoyed doing, in order for you to write a whole book?
Yeah. It is kind of hard for me to do my homework. Well, it's not really, but some kids in my grade don't really want to go home and do homework. They want to do their sports and their curricular activities. And but I decided it was a great idea, and I said I have nothing else to do, so I might as well start writing books.
I love that. So, talk to me about writing your first book. What was that process like? Do you spend a certain amount of time every day writing, or do you just get in a mood? Are there certain things that set the mood for you to write? And then, how long can you write at one time?
Well, when I first started, it was kind of difficult for me to like get up and say, "Oh, let me go start writing." But I had a typist with me and a writing coach, so she did kind of help me, um, like stay on track and stuff like that. But we had a couple of days designated to writing a chapter each day. It took me only 30 days to write my first book, so it didn't take me a long time to finish it. But you know, she clowns me about this, but my writing process is basically cartwheels and flipping around on the couch and turning and spinning around. So that's kind of how I got my creative flow out and got all the words to create my first book. But once, like the next week, I decided to start writing the book. I was on track, and I had my days where we had like an hour and a half to write the book. It wasn't that difficult, but that's kind of how it went. So
I love that. Now, what you decided to write about in the book, of course, you have to have some level of passion for what you're writing, right? And you were quarantined, but you weren't out of school. You were still in school, right?
yeah.
So, how did you balance that? So, talk to me about your passion behind your writing. Like, what do you need to keep you fueled to write? And then how you balance with school because you were still in school.
Well, for my first book, it wasn't that hard with school because I literally just got out of school once I started writing my book. But my second one, it kind of got difficult balancing school and writing. But balancing different things anyway. Um, it's always going to be difficult, but you always got to find a way to make it work. Thank God for calendars and organization apps so we could know where all the timing and stuff is going to be. But, when it came to my second book, because I was literally in the middle of seventh grade writing it, so it was kind of difficult, but luckily, you know, I had the end of the day, I finished my homework, then I started writing, or we did some in the weekend and days that I didn't have school or half days. Any free time I had was designated to writing my second book.
Mhm.
And the same thing would have been for my first book if I was still in school. So,
Man, so look, it's not really proper for people to ask women their age, but I want you to tell the people how old you are, what grade you're in, and what do you see next for your literary career?
okay. So I am 13 years old and I am in the eighth grade. So next year I'm going to high school.
Okay.
Um, My next career move, I guess, when it comes to being an author or stuff like that, is I still have one more book to do, and I'm not really sure if I want to write more in this series. But um, my I don't really have anything else that I would probably want to do right now, or I could do. So, my options are always open, but I do love going to different schools and different events and talking about bullying and what I do and stuff like that. And now, as you can see, hard
Hey.
to see, but I do have merch out, so I will be selling that stuff. But anything is possible, really.
I am so impressed, mostly because you use the word entrepreneur, and there are adults that don't really know what an entrepreneur is. So, can you tell me and tell the audience what an entrepreneur is to you?
Oh, that's a good question. When it comes to me being an entrepreneur, is someone that goes out of their way and does something completely different than what the normal is. Working by yourself and doing things your own way. When I couldn't do my nonprofit, my club at the time at my school, which would be the easiest thing to do. I decided to, you know, make the decision that like I will take this home and do it as my own. And sometimes it does take time away from me, like, playing games, hanging out in my room doing nothing, hanging out with my friends. But, it's a decision where you are taking something in your own control. So not really stepping out of the norm.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to ask you for some advice. And I know this might be a little off base, but I have friends that sometimes they don't understand that I can't go out or I can't hang out when I have to work and I have to build my business, right? I have obligations kind of to myself to put in the work to build the business that I want because I'm an entrepreneur too. And like you, I do things my own way. So, what would your advice be to me or anyone else out there trying to be an entrepreneur and explain to their friends why they can't always come out and play? I want you to help me with that.
Because the like, especially if you're an adult or at least a person that wants to work and do things like that, you always have a responsibility. You always have to get up and do it, even though you probably don't want to do it or you're too tired, something like that. But you always got to get up and go do it just so you can get your money or get the benefits out of working, um, stuff like that. So that's kind of why that's kind of where I come from because I can't go out to the mall with my friends or go to Dave and Buster's or go to Frankie's or just sit down in my room and do nothing. I made a choice. I wanted to go help kids and write books and stuff like that. So you always have a responsibility when you make those choices. So
It sounds like you've decided that you have a responsibility to yourself to fulfill this mission, this goal that you've had to help kids. I think that's dope. But what I want you to also lean into for me is what you want to do as an author. And let me tell you why I'm asking you, because some people just want to be an author to say they're an author, and you can do that twice over because you're amazing. Some people want to tour, like you said you wanted to go to other schools and talk. But big picture, and this might be a big ask, but big picture, in the next 5 years, what would you like to see happen with your books and your writing career?
that's a good question. Okay, so
Girl.
I already have what I want set. When it comes to my writing, I might not be focusing on that exactly as much as I am now, but I do picture me having a few more books out. But in 5 years, I'm definitely going to be working on um, getting my own daycare, and I already know in 8 years, I'm going to graduate from college and go straight into working with kids and work at a daycare, working at my own daycare because I want to own one and franchise it. But that's kind of where I want my literacy thing to go. I do want it to be like I still want to be known as, oh, she's an author. She wrote when she started writing when she was 11 years old. Um, you know, once I'm old and doing retired or something like that, I still want kids in the next generation to be like, oh, my mom and my grandma has this book that was made like 50 years ago or something like that. So that's kind of where I want it to go in the long run. But in 5 years, for sure, I want to be known for having books out and still people buying it and stuff like that. So that's kind of where I want it.
I think that's dope that you have vision, you have purpose, and you have goals. Like that's hugely complimentary of someone your age. I think that's great. Where did you get your passion for the entrepreneurship? I mean, did it come from your parents? You want to talk to us about that?
Yeah, for sure. My dad has been an entrepreneur for almost over 20 something years. And, that obviously came from genetics and stuff like that. So that's kind of where I get my entrepreneurship stuff from. But, seeing him every week go out and talking to people about entrepreneurship and just working in general every day and seeing him, go out and chase his dream, kind of influenced me. He was the one that had the idea of me writing my first book. So, and he the one that said, okay, when I wanted to start my nonprofit outside of school. So he's kind of been my support system, especially my mom as well. She's been helping me in the background and on my flyers and all the stuff that like marketing and stuff like that. That's kind of where I get it from. So it is probably genetics.
I'm so excited to hear more about your book. Do you have a passage in one of your books that you can read? And can you show the camera, let the people see your books so that they know they are Sydney Joe's books when they go to order them?
So this is my first book. Hold on. Okay. This looks so much better because usually when I do presentations, it's always super bright on this one, but I'm so happy that y'all can see it. But this is my first book, Malaysia's Big Move. It's about a girl named Malaysia. She's 12 years old, and she finds out that she's moving from her home, New York, to Atlanta. And she's not really excited about it. She doesn't really want to go, but when she gets there, she finds out that her new friends are being bullied. So she tries to help them stand up for themselves and stand up for, bullying. And then my second book, where my passage is going to come from, this came out a couple weeks ago, and it's about Malaysia coming back from helping her new friends, Savannah and Kobe, with their bullies. And she finds out that one of her friends is at work at their favorite cafe is being bullied. But she finds out that her friend is older than Malaysia. So her dynamic on how she helps other kids with bullies change, and she has to compromise and improvise and see if that will help the situation. My favorite passage is, let me find it. This is on page 83. And this short little paragraph, it says, "Do you see what bullying other people has gotten you?" Ireland asks. "You have no more friends, and the only reason you still may have friends is because they're scared of you. Do you know that bullying is damaging to people's emotional and mental state? That people start feeling bad about themselves and start bullying others as a result of how they feel about themselves, and that these people are doing the exact same thing you're doing just to get revenge."
What is bullying to you? Because I think people have a different definition based on their own personal experiences. What is bullying to you?
So bullying to me is repetition. And it's an unwanted series of harassment and just talking about someone or saying mean things, on purpose. Sometimes people could be like saying something and they don't actually mean it, and they don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, but they say it anyways. But bullying to me is someone that just comes out of nowhere on purpose with bad intentions, saying something or doing something that hurts somebody's feelings.
I like that. Have you ever experienced bullying?
Yeah, I think so. I
Talk
don't
to
like
me about
saying
that.
that because it's kind of weird saying that because I'm a person that's trying to help other people. But I have been in situations where I've been talked about before. I've been cyberbullied before. A couple, like not even a year ago. It's almost a year ago, but I knew these people online, and we were friends for like almost over 6 months, and it was going great. It was toxic among some people in the group, which made some other people leave. But, it was pretty tight amongst some of the other people that stayed. and with me. And a couple months later, started adding new people to the group, and it got soup. It like once they added people, they started like not liking me and wanted them to stop being friends with me and stuff like that. But it kind of got the best of them when people kept saying that. So they turned on me and they had a whole mob of people attack me on social media, and they got my TikTok account banned. But you know, and I kind of grew from that, and that's kind of where I talk from experience. I talk about that stuff to other kids around the city and all around the state and stuff like that. So that's kind of, and then I've also always been talked about at school, like about how I am, because I am very loud and sometimes I am kind of blunt, but you know, I kind of slow it down a little bit because I know how people can be sensitive and don't understand what I mean. It's kind of not to hurt somebody's feelings, but you know, I am loud. I have a lot of energy. I bounce around a lot, so you know, sometimes
Sid,
I do get some hate about that. But you know, I kind of let it roll over my shoulder because I know there's gonna be judges everywhere. Doesn't even have to be a competition.
I have a feeling you get that from your father too.
Yeah, I think so.
I love it. So listen, the people that are watching you right now are pretty impressed by you. Some of them will watch you later. What is it that you want them most to remember about you? And then how can they keep up with your journey? Because I expect that there will be so much more going on that people are going to want to watch and support. So let us know.
So, well, where they can follow my journey is I do have Instagram and I do have a Facebook, and my Instagram is Cindy's_block, and my Facebook is Anti-Bully Club, and I do have a TikTok. We are almost at 100 by like literally I just started it like Saturday or something like that, and I'm almost at 100, which I'm so happy about. Which is Anti-Bully Club, no spaces, all lowercase, and then underscore at the end. Um, that's where you can follow me. It's pretty much it. And then I do have emails and my website. My website is www.sydneysblock.com. My email info@sydneysblock.com. That's where you can follow my journey. I go everywhere virtually. Sometimes just depends on the situation when it comes to going to different places. But I do everything. I talk to kids. I do, fundraisers. Coming up this Christmas, I'm going to do my third sock drive. I collect socks, a certain amount of socks, and I donate it to my friends at Emperor Children's Home down here in Columbia. And, you know, that's kind of, I do a lot of fundraisers and just lessons and, events on bullying and talking about that stuff. So that's kind of where my journey is.
I,
So you can see what I do.
I am so impressed. One of the words that you didn't use about yourself, but I'm going to use about you is an advocate. You are an advocate for young people like yourself, younger than yourself, older than you. You're a true advocate. I hear it in everything that you say. So, what I want you to do is give your best advice to some young person that is going through bullying. And then I want you to give your best advice for someone that's doing the bullying.
For the people that are being bullied, for sure, talk to someone about it. It could be multiple people, it could be one person, but at least talk to someone about it so someone knows what's going on. Especially because you don't want to keep that feelings and anger and sadness bottled up inside, because it can take you to a very, very dark place. So always talk to someone, trusted adult, parent, teacher, counselor, principal. I always tell the kids that I talk to always to talk to someone. And the person that is doing the bullying, realize that you are hurting someone's feelings, and not even in the smallest way, like, oh, I'm just saying this thing and it's okay. It's just gonna blow over and they won't care. But it could hurt someone in very, very bad ways, and it could take them to dark places. Their mental state could be crushed, their self-esteem can be squashed, confidence very low. So just know that, be considerate and cognizant of other people's feelings, and just think about what you're doing before you do it, because you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, and then it could be something totally irreversible, like irreversible damage that you could do to them. So just think about that.
I appreciate you sharing your advice. I appreciate you sharing your book, your
Thank
writing, and your process. I mean, it is a big deal to put out a book, and then you did it twice, and you're not done. So,
you.
needless to say, you are quite impressive. I am thrilled
Thank
to be
you.
affiliated with you. I see you being a young Zeta one day. But I want you to definitely keep in touch, and anything that we can do here at Sand and Shores to continue to promote your journey and the support for the work that you are doing, we'll continue to do it. Just keep us posted.
Thank you so much for having me.
I appreciate you being here. Listen, guys, go out, buy the book. Christmas is coming up, and y'all know shipping has issues right now, so now's a good time for you to order the books. If you have young people in your life, whether they are being bullied or doing the bullying, some of y'all know y'all raising little bullies out there, get the book. Share these wise words from this young girl that is doing great work. If nothing else, support her, support the work. Keep us posted, and we will keep you guys informed what she's doing. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you again on the next episode of Leaders and Learners. Thank you guys so much. Thank
Bye.
you, Sid,
Thank
again for
you.
being here.
All right. Thank you. Bye bye.